I think there was I know I saw another blog of someone who had a tiny house that drove to Austin, stayed in Austin, decided they didn't like it and drove back away. But yeah, I don't know of another one.
Didn't like it and drove away.
Yeah, well, you can do that with a tiny house, so.
Damn!
Put your house where you like it. If you don't like it, you pick someplace else. Well, I think the tiny house movement's coming around because people are starting to figure out they don't need as much space as the general consensus seems to be right now. That it's easier from a physical standpoint as well as a emotional standpoint to take care of less space and spend the rest of the time and the energy, the effort doing other things you'd rather be doing. I'm definitely into utilitarian approaches to finding what works and sticking with that and not doing a lot of extra stuff. One of the things that I often noticed being a younger person practicing real estate means that most of your clients are younger people or first-time buyers. And just looking at the Austin market, Austin's a dynamic place to live, but as you're going around looking at the lowest, the lower end of the market, everything pretty much starts to look the same after you've seen about 4 or 5 of them. And most people hate the idea of cookie cutter, but then that's most of all that's available around here. So if you want something that's a little bit different, there are different things if you start to increase your price quite a bit. But there's this pretty substantial gap in the affordable housing market that you don't see in countries like Brazil or India, places like that, where there's no or very little regulation as to what people can build. It was designed to be as plug and play, easy maintenance as possible. So it's on a 16-foot trailer, it can be pulled by a regular full-size truck. Had it pulled by a truck with a towing package, so I know that it's less than 5,000 pounds. I know that the plumbing is very simple. There's a couple of hoses. Electrical is fairly simple. You can control it all from inside. That way, in a situation like this, if you're not used to living in small spaces, there's a limited amount of electricity instead of like in a house where you can plug in as many things as you want. So you have to play with it a little bit. If you overload it, then it'll just trip the switch here and you can fix it here instead of having to go to another location to change things. Well, the greenest feature about it is its size. So with a smaller footprint, you won't use as much energy in heating and cooling. It's insulated all the way around like a normal house would be. So ceiling to floors, the rolled out bat insulation is formaldehyde free, which is what they have available now, easy. I reused the boards that came with the deck, so this porch here is original decking material. I used low E doors and windows, the storm door here to give you an extra layer. That way also you can open the front door and leave the storm door closed and have a big screen where you can use the breeze as much as that's available too. It's got a metal roof, which it's also a white metal roof to try to reflect some of the sun out. But it's got a nice metal roof that you can attach it to. I know they're coming out with different ones where you can just set them on the ground. Because of its weight, you can move it under the shade if that's what you wanted to reduce your energy. I guess you'd have to get the batteries and all sorts of other things set up. But all the wiring is pretty straightforward, so I imagine it'd be pretty easy to set up. Another green feature, we have all LED lights, so almost no energy is being used. But I've been in here in the dark and it lights up pretty well, so unless you're trying to do surgery or something, I think there's adequate lighting. The question I keep getting is, am I going to build another one? And I've had several people ask me to build other ones for them to different specifications, things like that. This being my first project, I'm kind of relieved to be done with it, and I'm applying to architecture school for next fall, so I'm hoping to be able to take some new skills and be able to build on those and then be able to come back and do something even better. I think in the meantime, I'm going to focus on making plans available, entry-level instructions available, SketchUps available so that you can take the plans and look at it in 3D, twirl it around and look at it from different angles, things like that. I've got a few different design ideas that I'll probably set those as separate plans, things like that. But as far as building another one right now, I've talked to a couple of people about partnering with them to build one. I'm not planning to build one by myself again. anytime soon. I would say read as much as you can about it. If there's something nearby you that you can go check out, definitely go check that out. If there's something you can experiment with on a small scale, I think I know the Cal Earth organization does the adobe houses, and they say build a pizza oven. You know, if you can't build a big house right away, build a pizza oven. So read as much as you can online. There's tons and tons of materials. Start to think about how people use space, and if you can do little models. I know Google SketchUp is a free thing. You can start drawing things. So just get out there and test it out. Look and see what materials are available and how you can use them. I'm definitely going to design some more from the perspective of a builder and someone who would live in it, rather than the perspective of what may be artistic or I'm definitely not going for luxury products. I'm going for what someone can just take without, as long as you can operate a saw safely. I think that's probably a good enough starting point to be able to go ahead and start building your own dwellings from there. It was a lot more fun and a lot more work than I originally anticipated. Learning a lot of the steps along the way. I didn't know anything about electricity other than changing fixtures or plumbing. Just went to the library and checked out books, looked online. There weren't a lot of resources, so I think I may put some more resources on my site in the future, especially for tiny house builders. As a human being, I think it's to make a contribution and enjoy my life along the way, since it's the one I've got right now. So as a builder, I think it's important to build things that allow people to enjoy their life, to be able to start it from that and make a meaningful contribution as well. So whatever it is they're wanting to get out of life or contribute with their life, the place they go home to, is that sucking their life away through a big mortgage, or is it a place where there's not much clutter and everything's just easy and they go home and it's simple, and then they go back to wherever they're making their contribution? So I think it's important to be, I think it's important to be what people want. But I think more and more people are starting to want simplicity.